There's something about nature that helps ease our hectic lifestyles.
It's like therapeutic being here.
It's so precious, that's why we have to help preserve it. So yeah, absolutely, it's worth fighting for.
20 years ago, the people of Santa Clara County saw the urgent need to protect their beloved landscape and took a stand for open space.
We can't be passive if we value this open space.
Regulation alone cannot preserve our community. There had to be action.
Through public will, the Santa Clara County Open Space Authority was established, dedicated to protecting wildlands, farm and ranch lands, and urban open space throughout the region.
It's a story of democracy in action.
It's a story about advocacy and leadership.
It's a story about when you want something, you have to work for it. It's not really a sacrifice when it's a passion.
The passion that drove the early conservation advocates came from a love for the land and the awareness that it urgently needed protecting.
The underlying urgency was the fact that development was occurring all the time. The longer time went by without saving the hillsides, they were going to be lost.
If you had any kind of awareness at all, you knew that this was happening in California, one place after another.
The County Board of Supervisors initiated a project to determine what the status of open space was and how it could be saved.
The recommendation came out that an independent entity with powers and funding should be created. Now we got to get down and do it. There's the recommendation. How do we do that?
One by one, a small group of people from diverse backgrounds came together, working toward a common vision.
It was mostly just regular people who belonged to organizations and felt very committed and passionate about this.
These regular people led an extraordinary effort as they campaigned to create and fund the new agency. But their effort wasn't just about the land itself. It was also about connecting the land to the hearts of the people.
The only thing that preserves land forever is an ethic of conservation.
On election night 1993, the group gathered to see if a conservation ethic had taken root.
We were all around yakking and talking, and as the votes kept coming in, we kept just saying, cheering and just having a great time.
When the measure to create the Open Space Authority passed, I was delirious. It was just great.
This wouldn't happen without some kind of marriage of interest, idealism, political leaders, and the public.
20 years ago, the dream so many had strived for became reality, and the Santa Clara County Open Space Authority was established. The newly created Open Space Authority purchased its first property in 1999, Palisou Ridge.
In this particular piece of land, you really have a mini Santa Clara County in terms of the beauty that it has to offer and the tranquility that it has.
Palisou is 3,000 acres of rolling woodlands and steep ravines. It's the gateway to the Coyote Creek headwaters and back door to Henry Coe State Park.
It was a significant step for the Open Space Authority, and I think it was well received by the community also. It was just a great piece of property.
The purchase of Palisou was just the beginning. The authority now protects over 16,000 acres. Stewarding these lands falls on the shoulders of a small but energetic staff.
They have a love and admiration for the property, and it shows in the maintenance that they have out there, the way that the preserves look, the way that they're upkept, the compliments that we get from our visitors.
Most visitors don't know how the land was preserved or the efforts needed to manage it. They just know the beauty of the place and the peace it brings to them.
You're sort of free to explore, and that's the beauty of a natural area, is that you're not constrained by something.
It's like there's no border, you can just go anywhere.
In addition to these grand landscapes, the authority also protects urban open spaces in the midst of our cities, where people can easily discover nature and have access to healthy food grown right here.
Ready for your tummy?
People really don't know we're back here. We're kind of in the armpit of the freeway here, and no one really realizes that there is 47 acres of land dedicated to agricultural education.
She loves the chickens so much, so I think that she's going to learn empathy and compassion. I think it's really important that people connect to the land. It's just important to know where your food comes from.
I think San Jose should have more of these little options here for everybody to get back to the community.
From these little options to large-scale ranching, the Open Space Authority is helping preserve the valley's rich agricultural tradition and a new vision for the future.
The conservation vision is really intended to promote and maximize our quality of life for our current generation and the next generation by protecting those things that are so important: water, wildlife, and working lands.
As the authority moves into the future, we remember how it was created and those who founded it.
Well, I think it's really important to acknowledge the incredible work of the founders of the Open Space Authority.
They made this happen by sheer sweat, dedication, commitment, persistence. They are the reason this agency exists.
After 20 years, the founders' work and legacy carries on.
The agency's come so far since I started here 10 years ago. For the future, I see us opening more properties, opening more trails, opening more staging areas, and increasing the habitat that wildlife can roam unencumbered.
I think the Open Space Authority is in a unique position to think about this county-wide and bring a lot of different partners together. Spur wants to be part of that partnership. I think a lot of other people do.
As the Open Space Authority embarks on its next 30 years of conservation, we want to be a leader in the community to make sure that everyone understands that the health of our communities and the strength of our economy depends on the health of the environment.
What our founders did for us, we can do for future generations. With your support, the Open Space Authority will continue to preserve open space lands and help ensure a sustainable and healthy quality of life for all of those who come after us. It is our shared legacy.